Joining me now with more on this and the latest on Operation Epic Fury is Senator Bill Hagerty, an integral member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and the former ambassador to Japan. Senator, it's great to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Likewise, Maria. Good to be with you this morning.
I want to get to the SAVE Act and get your take on that in a moment. But first, you heard what Secretary Doug Burgum just told us. You are the former ambassador to Japan. How significant is Japan's help in this fight? We're waiting to see how many allies actually send warships to the region, which is what President Trump has been asking for.
Well, Japan can play an incredible role. We have, the most extensive military operations in the world. The United States has more military based in Japan than any place else. We're sending, Marine Expeditionary Force from Japan into the region right now. 2,500 Marines coming from that region ourselves. We're very accustomed to working with the Japanese, and I think we can work very clearly and effectively with them in the strait if the Japanese decide to step up and move forward. I know they're considering this carefully, and the fact is Prime Minister Takaichi is coming to visit the United States this week. She'll be meeting with President Trump. I'm looking forward to seeing her as well. There are going to be great economic announcements made. I heard you with Secretary Burgum. What a terrific job, $57 billion worth of transactions in terms of energy dominance and partnership in that region. This is a vision that President Trump and I have shared since I was ambassador back in 2017. It's materializing now in a beautiful way. If you think about the partnership as well from a national defense standpoint, the Prime Minister has been very clear. She's stepping up their defense expenditures. We are close allies, and I think we have even greater opportunities to collaborate and cooperate, whether it's in Iran or whether it's in the region, as we extend our joint work together.
And this is on top of the $550 billion that Japan had already committed to invest in America. And of course, this relationship is critical as the president takes on China and tries to change behavior there as he goes on this trip to Beijing at the end of March.
Indeed. And you see the South Koreans also stepping up and engaging with us more. So the trilateral cooperation between South Korea, Japan, and the United States has never been stronger, Maria. I love seeing this. I'm sure the CCP does not like this at all. But this makes a very strong statement in terms of the collaboration that we have. Again, the technical cooperation from a national security and a defense standpoint, as well as the economic cooperation. All of this, strengthening ties throughout the region, is good for America. It's good for our allies. And I think the CCP is quite disturbed.
Senator, let me switch gears. I put out a post over the weekend asking our audience what they wanted to hear most about this show. And overwhelmingly, I got responses from our viewers. They want to know about the SAVE Act. Why can't the Senate pass the SAVE Act? What is the issue with having ID to vote and proving you are an American citizen to vote?
The way you frame the question, Maria, I think is the way the American public feels about it. Why should there be an issue when you have over 80% of the American population want to see this? More than 90% of Republicans, over 80% of independents, over 70% of Democrats want to see this. Yet you've got Democrats in the Senate, none of them want to step up and deal with this right now. These are issues that the American public want addressed. If you think about it, Leader Thune is going to put this on the floor Tuesday. He's going to put the SAVE Act on the floor Tuesday. Let's hear the Democrats try to defend why it is that we shouldn't have voter ID, why it is that people should be allowed to vote, I guess this is their goal, that are not American citizens. What we're trying to do is clean up a situation that's been a grave concern to Americans. We have to show ID for almost everything that we do here in America. I do not understand why exercising one of the most precious rights as an American is not one of those issues that the Democrats couldn't support. So we'll see. I plan to be on the floor, every moment of this coming week, battling this out, and I hope the American people will convey the message that you've heard to their Democrat legislators as well, so we can get this over the finish line.
Well, I mean, what does over the finish line mean? I mean, if you can't get, what about this talking filibuster? Because I think John Thune said that you don't even have Republican support for that. Is that what we're going to hear on Tuesday? A talking filibuster, or can that go on?
I'm certainly willing to do that. I'm certainly willing to move into that zone. I think let's get on the floor. Let's start this debate and see how embarrassed the Democrats are as they try to articulate an indefensible position. Let's see how their public, their voters press them, because again, over 70% of Democrats want to see this done as well. So I think you've got Leader Thune that's willing to put this to the test immediately. Let's see how it progresses. But I think we should do everything in our everything possible. I'm happy to do the talking filibuster to continue moving on this to get this across the finish line for the American public.
Senator, let me switch gears real quick before you go. Ask you about Kevin Warsh. You've been very supportive of President Trump's nominated next chairman of the Federal Reserve. Now we know that Judge Boasberg has dismissed the subpoenas against Jay Powell and the Department of Justice, and Janine Pirro say they are going to appeal this. Is there a chance that Jay Powell stays in place beyond May when he's supposed to step down as chairman because the Kevin Warsh situation is still blocked up? I mean, are you going to be able to have confirmation hearings for Kevin Warsh as the next chairman of the Fed?
Well, we're ready to have confirmation hearings for Kevin. He's actually started the process last week, moving through and meeting with senators. I met with Kevin last week. I've known Kevin for over 30 years. But Kevin is the man for the moment here. If the concern is Fed independence, which I've heard this articulated, there's no one better than Kevin. Kevin's going to get the Fed back to its core mission. You think about the dual mandate. He's going to be focused on inflation and unemployment, getting us out of the business of worrying about climate change. The Fed has gotten far out of its lane, regulating according to climate risk, mitigating climate risk. The DEI initiatives coming out of the 12 Federal Reserve banks, that will be over under Kevin's watch. Kevin is the right person to get us back into the lane of independence, and I hope that's where we go. It's certainly up to Jay Powell whether he stays. He's a governor that's elected for a longer term. It is not typical for a retiring chair to do that, and I would expect that Kevin would come in and have a clean runway. My goal is to get him in on time. Jay's retirement comes the 15th of May. I hope we can get through this. Again, I'll remind you, Kevin Warsh has been confirmed by the United States Senate on a bipartisan basis overwhelmingly in the past. So you've got many of my colleagues on the Democrat side that have already voted for Kevin. I hope they'll do that again.
All right, Senator, thanks very much for the update on all of the above. We so appreciate your leadership.
Certainly, Maria.
Senator Bill Hagerty, thank you.
Thank you.